MFA updates
สวัสดีค่ะ and welcome to MFA Update, the program that keeps you informed about Thailand's foreign affairs, diplomacy, and our engagement with the international community. I am สศิการศรีเกต your host today. In today's program, we turn our attention to ASEAN and one of the key diplomatic gatherings of the year, the 59th ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting, or AMM, and the ASEAN Post-Ministerial Conferences, commonly known as the PMC. From the 21st to 24th of July 2026, Mr. ศรีหศักดิ์ พวงเกตแก้ว Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, participated in the meetings alongside ASEAN foreign ministers and representatives from ASEAN dialogue partners. The meetings provide an important platform for ASEAN member states to discuss regional priorities, exchange views on regional and international developments, and strengthen cooperation with ASEAN's external partners. But what exactly are the AMM and PMC? What were key issues discussed this year? What priorities did Thailand bring to the table? And perhaps most importantly, what do the outcomes mean for Thailand and Thai people? To help us better understand these issues, today we are joined by Mrs. Chatvadee Chindawongse, Deputy Director General, Department of ASEAN Affairs. So, let us begin our conversation.
The foreign affairs that matter. Special guests from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is the MFA updates.
And now we are here with Mrs. Chatvadee Chindawongse, Deputy Director General, Department of ASEAN Affairs. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you very much for joining us on MFA Update today. Let's begin with the bigger picture. For listeners who may not be familiar with these meetings, could you explain what the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting, or AMM, and the ASEAN Post-Ministerial Conferences, or PMC, actually are? And what role do these meetings play within ASEAN? And what kind of issues are normally discussed among ASEAN member states and with ASEAN's dialogue partners?
Thank you. First of all, let me just put this in simple terms. The ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting, or the AMM, is a forum where the foreign ministers of ASEAN member states meet and discuss the direction of ASEAN community and seek to develop common positions on major regional and international issues. And this is also at the same time provide an opportunity for ASEAN to engage its external partners, in this case, in dialogue partners during the PMCs. For example, we met with China, Japan, Republic of Korea, the US, India, Australia, New Zealand, the EU, Canada, Russia, and United Kingdom. And these meetings are also designed for us, ASEAN, to exchange views on regional and global developments and also to advance practical cooperation in areas of mutual interest. So the AMM PMC is actually not a forum that handles one or two specific issues, but they are broad ministerial level platforms that participants can discuss issues on peace and security, trade and investment, or other areas like food and energy security, digital transformation, climate change, connectivity, and also our efforts to combat transnational challenges like online scams and cyber crimes.
And among those outcomes, were there any particular agreements, initiatives, or areas of cooperation that we should keep an eye on moving forward?
I like to group the discussions into four major areas. First, geopolitical and international security developments, and the ASEAN foreign ministers, had the opportunity to exchange views on rapidly evolving international environment, particularly in the context of situation and developments in the Middle East, and the implications they have on ASEAN, whether it is security, trade, supply chains, or trade routes. And I think it's not just ASEAN member states, but also other external partners that we met. They all emphasize on importance of peaceful settlement of disputes based on international law, and also the importance of freedom of navigation. And I think if all the countries, at the MPMC focus on how we can work together to mitigate the impacts from the situation in the Middle East. Second is on economic resilience, because of the continuing instability in the Middle East. I think we all agree that it has highlighted the vulnerability of energy supplies, trade routes, food security, arising from the issues of fertilizer supplies and global supply chains, and that's why ASEAN place greater emphasis on economic resilience, diversification, and stronger partnerships. This we believe will help us promote energy and food security in the long run. And the third area is practical cooperation in other areas. We focus quite a lot on practical cooperation in digital economy, on AI, cybersecurity, energy transition, trade and investment, combating online scams, and people-to-people connectivity, and these are all the areas that ASEAN put a lot of emphasis when we discuss with our dialogue partners. And the fourth issue, which is very important to ASEAN, is the situation in Myanmar, because Myanmar remained an integral part of ASEAN, and addressing the situation in Myanmar has been and will be a major priority for ASEAN. And I think, of course, ASEAN reaffirmed that the 5-point consensus remains the main reference framework for addressing the situation. But the ASEAN foreign ministers also discussed ways to make progress on implementation of the 5-point consensus, and how we can create conditions for progress, how we can achieve demonstrable and measurable progress, so that we can have a constructive engagement with Myanmar, and that is why Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sihasak has advocated for a calibrated re-engagement approach. But the details of this approach, or the details of how we going to make further progress on the ground, it will be further discussed, and we hope to have some outcome before the ASEAN summit in November. And lastly, ASEAN has admitted Turkey as a new dialogue partner, and we also admitted Germany and Qatar as our new sectoral dialogue partners. And this expansion of our external relations reflect the relevance and strategic importance that countries outside our region still see in us.
Now I would like to turn specifically to Thailand's role. As a founding member of ASEAN, Thailand has long played an active role in promoting regional cooperation and strengthening ASEAN's engagement with the wider international community. During this year's meeting, what positions or priorities did Thailand particularly seek to advance? And were there any specific issues that Thailand wanted to see receive greater attention from ASEAN and its dialogue partners?
For Thailand, I think one of the clearest themes was the promotion of what we call 3Rs approach. The 3Rs are regionalism, resilience, and relevance. Especially, in the rapidly evolving geopolitical landscape, and where multilateralism is being contested. Regionalism remains very important approach for ASEAN because ASEAN will need to deepen our integration, work more closely with each other so that we can address global and regional challenges more effectively. And second, resilience means strengthening ASEAN's capacity to withstand external shocks, particularly, as reflected in the situation from the Middle East. Food and energy security, economic stability, supply chains, and also our ability to address emerging security threats like online scam. And relevance means ensuring that ASEAN remains an active and constructive player in the global arena, being able to contribute to regional and international peace, security, and prosperity. And at the same time, relevance also means ensuring that ASEAN cooperation delivers practical benefits and response to issues that directly affects our people. And for Thailand, we has placed particular emphasis on combating online scams and cybercrime, as well as other forms of transnational crime, which are increasingly affected our citizens across the region. And we also push for enhanced cooperation in food and energy security, economic resilience, trade and investment, as well as technology cooperation with our external partners. And so these are the key themes and the issues that we have advocated at the MPMC.
We've talked about diplomacy, regional cooperation, and Thailand's role within ASEAN. But for many of listeners, there is another important question. What does all of this mean for us? From this year's AMM and PMC, what benefits could Thailand and Thai people expect to gain? Could the outcomes, for example, translate into greater economic opportunities, stronger regional stability, better connectivity, or other forms of cooperation that have a more direct impact on people's everyday lives?
Well, I would say that the benefits probably are not immediate after the meeting. Our peoples may not see the problems of online scam being solved immediately after the meeting, or we have new energy sources, or we have renewable energy right after the meeting. But this series of meetings helped create frameworks and partnerships that can generate tangible benefits for our peoples over time. For example, on security, ASEAN cooperation with dialogue partners in combating transnational crimes, particularly online scams and cybercrime, can strengthen the regional mechanisms for preventing and disrupting criminal networks that operate across borders. The fact that Thailand has worked with ASEAN member states and external partners will help us solve the problem more effectively, even though it's not overnight. And second, on food and energy security at a time when geopolitical conflicts can affect energy prices, transport costs, and supply chains. Stronger regional partnerships give Thailand more options and greater resilience against external shocks. And third, on trade and investment opportunities. Even though trade are under our Ministry of Commerce portfolio, but political impetus is also important. So that's why we also discuss trade and investment opportunity, and this will help our colleagues in the economic sector, to push forward for example, FTA. We expect to conclude ASEAN FTA with Canada by the end of this year, to sign the FTA by the end of this year, and we are in the process of upgrading the ASEAN Korea FTA. These are just examples. So and also on digital economy opportunities, Thailand's push for cooperation on AI, digital transformation, and cybersecurity can help Thai businesses and young people gain greater access to international expertise, technologies, and networks. So simply put, the meeting, the series of meetings probably did not provide immediate benefit right after the meeting, but rather this is for Thailand to use regional diplomacy and regional cooperation to reduce risks and create opportunities and protect our interests over the longer term, whether in the area of security, economic growth, food and energy security, and also technology and connectivity.
The foreign affairs that matter. Special guests from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is the MFA updates.
Thank you very much for those insights. Our conversation today shows us the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting and ASEAN post-ministerial conferences are much more than diplomatic meetings behind closed doors. They are important platforms where ASEAN countries come together to address shared challenges, strengthen cooperation, and engage with partners from around the world. For Thailand, this meeting also provides an opportunity to advance our national interest while contributing to peace, stability, prosperity, and cooperation across the region. And while diplomacy often happens at the negotiating table, its outcomes can reach far beyond meeting room, influencing regional stability, economic opportunities, connectivity, and ultimately the lives of people across ASEAN. And with that, we've come to the end of today's MFA update. Our sincere thanks to Mrs. Chatvadee Chindawongse, Deputy Director General of Department of ASEAN Affairs, for joining us today and sharing valuable insights into the 59th ASEAN Foreign Minister meeting and the ASEAN post-ministerial conferences. And to everyone listening, thank you very much for joining us. I am Sasikan Seegate, and you've been listening to MFA Update here on Radio Thailand FM 88. Until next time, take care and สวัสดีค่ะ
MFA updates.